Hey Nancy, how's it going? Here to give you some feedback today about your lesson.
Hi, Michael.
So when I walked in, I did what I normally do. There was, your students were really engaged here. It seemed like they were working on a math lesson. And then you were here at the table with an interactive reading group working on reading. And so I was really impressed because I was here with Adrian, and I asked him what he was learning about, and he said, I'm creating tens. And I said, well, show me how you create tens. And so he had 5 plus 10, 9 plus 1, and then he even had 100 minus 90, which I thought was really impressive. So I don't know if that's something you worked on, or if that's just, if he's a really good math kid.
Well, when he brought it up to me afterwards, when he was handing it in, he showed it to me, and he had really taken off on 90 take away 80, 70 take away 60. So he said that he liked
He said that I like what?
the 100 take away 90.
Right.
About it.
I said, well, 100 take away 90, it makes 10. I said that's really,
so
that's
I
really
think you
good.
inspired him to keep going with it. But they compose and decompose numbers, break them apart, and
Right.
that's what they're supposed to do. So I'm happy with him that he's taken it to another level rather than just 5 plus 5 and 6 plus 4.
Right.
He's gone farther with it.
And I noticed as I was going around the room, I thought that everybody was doing that one activity, and they all were, but then I noticed there was a couple of other pieces to that. You had played a game where they had 6 out and 4 in, make 10, and then 7 out and 2 in, make 10, and so they had a whole grid of 10s that sort of scaffolded that activity.
Right. Conscious of thought, the 2 games that they went today, and it's all based on 10. And they used 2 different color 5 of each of Unifix cubes, so that they know that they have 5 of this green, and there's only 3 green in there. They know the 2 of them are in the cup, so if there's only 1 yellow, they know the 4 are in the cup, so they're supposed to have the 2 together to figure out how many in the cup. They like it.
Yeah, and I was particularly impressed with how independent, and there was a calendar activity too they were also working on, and so they were very busy. And then you were working with 2 students when I first walked in, and then you switched the group to, I think there were 4 or 5, and the first 2 students had a specific book, and then the 4 or 5 had Frog and Toad. Yeah, so if you could tell me just a little bit about what they were learning in those 2 specific groups.
The first group is a little group that was struggling a little bit, so we're on a lower level. We're really using materials that really foster basic sight words, so they were really working on that. The other group was a little more advanced, and they're in like their first chapter book with Frog and Toad, and they like Frog and Toad,
So you
I'm
actually,
more familiar with stories of Frog and Toad, so we just talked a little bit first about what's the difference between the frog and the toad, and they made a little Venn diagram of how they're alike and how they're different. So then they got into the first story.
so the second group can actually do Venn diagrams and make comparisons with the book.
We're working on that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
great. And
Right
so,
there, it's,
yeah, if you could show me, that would be fantastic. So this is teacher scaffolding.
right, they both can hop, they both can jump, they can read, they can big back legs, little front legs, and frogs go in water, frogs swim, frogs eat flies. They didn't think toads eat flies. They ate crickets and caterpillars, but I put it over there, I think they might eat flies too. And toads stay on land, they can't swim. So talk about frog and toad, who are best friends. We'll talk first about what the difference between the 2.
Yeah, I really have to say, I mean, it was a great job. Differentiation's happening. You're really working with your students that are struggling with it. You're really working with the students that need to be challenged in effective interactive groups, and all these kids were working on meaningful work. So that was all really impressive. I liked being in your classes.
And I was just curious if they were starting a calendar page with March on.
Well, there were actually, it's interesting. There were 2 students that didn't start with March 1st on Sunday. They started with March 3rd on Sunday, and meaning today's March 3rd on Tuesday, and then they went all the way through. And I noticed those 2 students were a little confused as to, because they had important dates, right? And they were a little confused as to what day Amy's birthday fell on.
Yeah.
Because it was the 3rd and it was today, but they 3 started on Sunday.
I was curious about that because I told him to connect it to the March calendar, which Eli just put up this morning, and then March started on Sunday, and we did a little poem about how many days where it stopped, so
Right.
I noticed you were doing.
I did my knuckle trick to show them when 31 days. I thought maybe for first grade it was a little advanced, but they really
Yeah.
enjoyed having me show them. And they said 31 every time I said the month, and so it was fun for me to have that opportunity to do that with them as well.
Oh, they like you coming in, so.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Okay, keep it up.
Okay,
Thanks a lot,
thank
Nancy.
you. Yeah, all right.
Here we go.